$600. That is what your neighbor paid last Tuesday. A guy in a hazmat suit showed up, sprayed chemicals you cannot pronounce into every corner of their house, handed them an invoice, and left. And the roaches? They were back in 3 weeks. $3. That is what this costs. This powder right here, you can buy it at Home Depot. You can order it on Amazon. It fits in your pocket. And it does something that a $600 exterminator cannot do. It eliminates cockroaches, bedbugs, fleas, ants, and over 100 other species permanently, not temporarily, permanently. And 12 states in America are actively working to make it harder for you to buy it. Let that sink in for a second. A completely natural powder that costs $3 is being quietly pushed off retail shelves across the country. While a $22 billion industry keeps sending men in hazmat suits to your door every single quarter, charging you $600 each time, this $3 solution has been sitting in plain sight, buried under decades of corporate lobbying and deliberate silence. They did not hide it because it fails. They hid it because it works, and it only works once, which means you never have to call them again. Before this video ends, you will know exactly what this powder is, where to buy it, how to use it, and why the most powerful pest control corporations on the planet are terrified of a $3 bag sitting on a warehouse shelf. Stay with me. This is where it gets ugly. $22 billion. That is not a typo. That is the annual revenue of the pest control industry in the United States alone. $22 billion every single year, extracted from homeowners exactly like you people who had a roach problem, called a number, and handed over their credit card without asking a single question. And here is the question you should have been asking all along. Why does the problem always come back? You call them in January, they spray, the bugs disappear for 6 weeks, then they come back. You call again in April, they spray again, another $600, then August, then November. Every single quarter, like clockwork, they are back at your door with their equipment and their invoice. This is not incompetence, this is architecture. The pest control industry is not built to solve your problem. It is built to manage your problem permanently, indefinitely, on a subscription basis. They do not sell you a cure, they sell you a dependency. The entire business model collapses the moment you stop calling them, so they make absolutely certain you never stop calling them. The chemicals they use are specifically engineered to break down within 30 to 60 days, not because that is the best science available, because a product that lasts forever destroys recurring revenue. Bayer, BASF, and the other giants supplying these chemical compounds have spent hundreds of millions of dollars lobbying regulators, funding studies, and quietly pressuring retailers, all to keep permanent natural solutions off the mainstream market. They are not competing with other exterminators. They are competing with a $3 bag of powder, and they know it. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is a business model, the same model used by printer companies who sell cheap printers and expensive ink cartridges, the same model used by razor companies who give away the handle and charge forever for the blades. You are not a customer to these corporations. You are a revenue stream. They did not hide this powder because it is dangerous. They hid it because it is permanent, and permanent solutions do not generate quarterly invoices. Now let me take you back 4,000 years because this secret is much older than the industry trying to bury it. 4,000 years ago, in the grain storage chambers beneath the Great Pyramids of Egypt, workers discovered something extraordinary. When a fine white powder from dried lake beds was mixed into stored wheat and barley, the grain stayed completely free of insects for months, sometimes years. No larvae, no beetles, no contamination. The pharaoh's food supply protected by dust. They did not know the science behind it. They just knew it worked, absolutely and completely. 1,000 years later, Greek farmers were doing the same thing, lining the walls of their storage buildings with this pale, chalky powder. Roman soldiers carried it on military campaigns to protect their grain rations from infestation across thousands of miles of hostile territory. This was not folk medicine or superstition. This was the most reliable pest control technology available to the ancient world, and it remained that way for centuries. Then, something strange happened. The 20th century arrived. Synthetic chemistry exploded. Corporations realized that natural solutions could not be patented, could not be monopolized, and could not generate the kind of recurring revenue that shareholders demanded. So the ancient solution was quietly shelved, and a $100 billion chemical industry was built in its place. But the science never went away. In the 1960s, NASA began using this same material inside spacecraft to manage moisture and particulate contamination in sealed environments. The Environmental Protection Agency classified it as generally recognized as safe, the highest safety designation available for substances used around humans and food. The Food and Drug Administration approved it for direct use in grain storage for human consumption. Researchers at Cornell University and North Carolina State University published independent studies confirming its effectiveness against more than 100 insect species. This is not a garage remedy. This is a substance that has been validated by space agencies, federal regulators, and academic institutions across 7 decades of modern research. The ancient Egyptians did not have the EPA, they did not have Cornell University, they just had results. 4,000 years of results. The powder is called diatomaceous earth, and the reason it destroys insects so completely while remaining entirely harmless to you comes down to pure, elegant, unstoppable physics. Stop for just 1 second. If what you have heard in the last 5 minutes has genuinely surprised you, hit like right now. Not for the algorithm, because it tells me you want more of this, and I have 6 more industries hiding secrets exactly like this one. And if you know someone who is currently paying for a quarterly pest control contract, tag them in the comments immediately. You might just save them $1,200 this year alone. Now, here is where it gets scientific. Diatomaceous earth is not a chemical, it is a fossil. Specifically, it is the fossilized skeletal remains of diatoms, microscopic aquatic organisms that lived in ancient oceans and freshwater lakes over 30 million years ago. When these organisms died, their silica-based shells sank to the bottom and accumulated into thick geological deposits over millions of years. What you are holding in that $3 bag is essentially ground-up prehistoric ocean floor, and under a microscope it looks like broken glass. Each individual particle of diatomaceous earth is a fragment of amorphous silicon dioxide, irregular, jagged, razor-sharp at the microscopic level. To the human eye, it looks like harmless white powder. To an insect, it is a field of microscopic blades. Here is exactly what happens when a cockroach walks through it. Every insect on Earth survives because of a protective waxy coating on the outside of its exoskeleton called the epicuticle. This layer is everything. It seals moisture inside the insect's body and keeps the outside world out. Without it, the insect cannot regulate its internal biology. Without it, the insect dies. When a cockroach walks through diatomaceous earth, the microscopic silica particles physically penetrate and abrade the epicuticle, not chemically, not through poisoning, through mechanical destruction at the microscopic level. The waxy layer is compromised. Moisture begins escaping from the insect's body at an accelerated rate. Within 24 to 72 hours, the insect dies of complete desiccation. It dries out from the inside. This is death by physics, not chemistry. And this distinction is everything, because insects can develop resistance to chemical pesticides over generations. Their biology can evolve, adapt, and neutralize chemical threats through natural selection. This is precisely why chemical exterminators need to keep coming back. The insects gradually stop responding to the same compounds. But no insect on Earth can evolve resistance to physical destruction. You cannot develop immunity to having your exoskeleton abraded at the microscopic level. You cannot genetically adapt to desiccation. These are the laws of physics, and biology does not negotiate with physics. This is not a poison that loses potency. As long as diatomaceous earth remains dry, it remains completely and permanently lethal to insects indefinitely. One application, infinite duration. The exterminators know this. They have always known this. Before you buy anything, there is one mistake that will make everything you just learned completely useless. There are 2 types of diatomaceous earth on the market, food grade and pool grade. Pool grade has been chemically treated at extremely high temperatures, which converts the amorphous silicon dioxide into crystalline silicon dioxide. Crystalline silica is toxic to human lungs and completely ineffective against insects. It will not work. It will also hurt you. Food grade only. Those 3 words will save you from wasting your money and your health. Check the label before you buy anything. Now here is everything you need. Total cost, under $15. 1 bag of food-grade diatomaceous earth between $8 and $12 at Home Depot, Walmart, or Amazon. 1 empty squeeze bottle or powder duster, approximately $3 at any hardware store. 1 inexpensive dust mask for application. That is the entire arsenal. Here is the 5-step process that permanently eliminates your infestation. Step 1. Reconnaissance. Spend 5 minutes identifying your 7 critical zones: the inside corners of kitchen cabinets, behind and beneath the refrigerator, under the kitchen sink, along the gap where your baseboards meet the floor, inside bathroom cabinet bases, behind electrical outlets and switch plates, around any pipe entry points in walls and floors. These are not random locations. These are the exact pathways every common household insect uses to navigate your home. Step 2. Application. This is where 90% of people fail. They apply too much. A thick, visible layer of powder will cause insects to detect and avoid it entirely. You want a layer so thin it is almost invisible, the thickness of a single sheet of paper across the surface. Use your squeeze bottle to apply a whisper-thin dusting directly into each of your 7 zones. Step 3. Perimeter sealing. Apply diatomaceous earth along every potential entry point into your home. Window frames, door thresholds, pipe entry points, and any visible crack or gap in your foundation. You are not just killing the insects currently inside. You are building a permanent barrier against every insect that will ever attempt to enter. Step 4, the 72-hour window. Do not vacuum, do not mop, do not disturb the treated areas for a minimum of 72 hours. This is the kill window. Insects need time to walk through the treated zones. Disrupting the application before they do resets the entire process to 0. Step 5, assessment and maintenance. After 1 week, inspect your zones. If any area has been disturbed by moisture or cleaning, reapply immediately. Diatomaceous earth has exactly one vulnerability. Water deactivates it temporarily. Dry it out or reapply, and full effectiveness is instantly restored. 3 advanced combinations worth knowing. Diatomaceous earth mixed with baking soda dramatically accelerates cockroach elimination. Cockroaches consume baking soda during grooming, which destroys their digestive system internally, while the diatomaceous earth destroys them externally. Adding 10 drops of peppermint essential oil to your application zones creates a simultaneous repellent barrier for spiders and ants. And applied around the perimeter of garden beds, it eliminates slugs, aphids, and spider mites without a single synthetic chemical touching your soil. This is not a complicated system. It is not expensive. It does not require a professional license or a hazmat suit. It requires $3, 15 minutes, and the information that a $22 billion industry spent decades making sure you never had. Let us talk about what this actually costs you over time. The average American household that uses a professional pest control service pays between $400 and $600 per visit. Most contracts lock you into quarterly service 4 visits per year. That is a minimum of $1,600 annually, leaving your home every single year, handed to a technician who spends 20 minutes spraying compounds that are specifically designed to stop working in 60 days. Over 5 years, that is $8,000. Over 10 years, that is $16,000. Over the lifetime of a single home, that number crosses $30,000. For a problem that was never actually being solved. Now here is the other side of that equation. 1 bag of food grade diatomaceous earth costs $12. A single bag covers the average home completely. You will reapply perhaps twice in a year in the event of moisture exposure. Total annual cost, $24. Over 10 years, $240. You are not choosing between an expensive solution and a cheap solution. You are choosing between a $30,000 subscription to a problem and a $240 permanent answer. The chemicals they spray require a licensed technician, specialized equipment, and quarterly renewal because they are engineered to expire. Diatomaceous earth requires a squeeze bottle in 15 minutes because it is engineered by 30 million years of geology to last forever. This is not frugality. This is basic arithmetic. And the fact that they never showed you this arithmetic is the most expensive thing they ever did to you. Let us bring this all the way home. Diatomaceous earth. Fossilized diatoms. 30 million years old, $3. Kills over 100 insect species through pure physics. Cannot be resisted. Cannot be outlasted. Approved by the EPA, the FDA, and used by NASA. Employed by ancient Egyptian, Greek, and Roman civilizations for 4,000 years before a $22 billion industry decided the world was better off not knowing about it. Now about those 12 states. They did not ban diatomaceous earth. What happened is more precise and more infuriating than an outright ban. Lobbying groups representing major pest control corporations successfully pressured state-level regulators to restrict commercial retail distribution of food-grade diatomaceous earth in specific packaging sizes and concentrations. Not because it is dangerous. The FDA literally allows it in human food. They restricted it because unrestricted access to a permanent $12 solution is an existential threat to a $1,600 per year service contract. This is not government protecting you. This is government protecting their donors. So here is what I am asking you to do right now. Share this video, not because I need the views. Share it because every single person who watches this to the end is a family that will never write a $600 check to a pest control company again. Every share is a direct financial hit to an industry that has been treating you as a renewable resource for decades. Comment the word DE below if you are done being managed instead of cured, and subscribe. Because next week I am going to show you the second $3 powder that the pharmaceutical industry has been quietly erasing from public knowledge for 30 years. They're not going to like that one either.